Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
Get a shot in, squares it into the back.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story.
Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely.
Can we not say that again?
Because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex. For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
what is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dive.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another fresh episode on Lunch Global. Welcome to another fresh week as well. So today we're going to be looking at just two things, and then this are food that are quite interesting, and oftentimes we get to find ourselves eating it, yet we don't know how to prepare it. And you know, these are food that are coming from the northern part of Nigeria, very regular. They sell them at the roadside food, you know. Some of them you even eat them with your suya any time of the day. And today we'll be looking at these interesting recipes. I am Chunk Annamel Joseph, and trust me, there's going to be so much more for you to learn today, and it might come to you as a surprise, but do not panic. These are food that you can make comfortably with the equipment you have in your home. Like I'm talking about your blender. You can make it comfortably, and you can buy your suya anytime and then come back home and enjoy it with your masa or your awara. So it depends on how you enjoy it. Before we go into detail, we're going to take a quick break and we will be back shortly. Welcome back from the break, and starting with our interesting recipes today. First of all, we're going to be looking at masa. Nigerian masa is also known as rice cake or waina. It is a popular traditional northern Nigerian delicacy, particularly among the Hausa ethnic group. It is made from rice and is often enjoyed as a snack or breakfast meal. Renowned for its unique taste and texture, masa has become a beloved snack or appetizer across the country, often enjoyed at special events, family gatherings, and casual get-togethers. This fluffy, slightly tangy and golden brown cake are typically served with a spicy pepper soup or sauce, or even yaji. You know, yaji that they make with kuli-kuli. The secret of masa's distinct flavor profile lies in the fermentation process that the rice goes through before cooking. Masa is made from a fermented rice batter that creates a slightly tangy and sauce aroma, a characteristic that sets it apart from other rice-based dishes. The rice used for masa is typically a short grain variety, the one that usually you use in making tuwon shinkafa, which is known for its ability to clump together and create a desirable texture when cooked. The fermented process not only adds a distinctive flavor to the dish, but also aids in breaking down the rice grain, making them easier to digest. So we're going to be looking at the step-by-step process on how you can make your masa. How do you start from? We know that, of course, when you have your rice, you have to make sure that the rice is very clean. You will pick it because sometimes there are stones inside, especially when it's down that, you know, you call, not the packaged one, you know. I don't mean the ones that you just buy them in the supermarket. I mean the ones that you go to the market and then they are packed in a basin and then they can give it to you whether you want it in a measure or in cups. Now, it depends. First of all, you need to get your rice. You clean it. Make sure that you pick up all the stones and dirt that in it, and then you're going to soak the rice. To prepare this masa, the rice is first soaked for several hours or overnight. Now it depends on the machine you're using to grind the masa. If you're using the normal grinding machine that you can see in the market, then I think you can just soak them for a few hours, and then when it's soft you can grind them there. But when you are using your blender, you have to soak it very well so that when it will not have effect in your blender, it's going to be able to be very, very smooth, which helps soften the grains and allows for a smoother batter. Now, creating the batter, after soaking, the rice is blended with water, cooked rice, and finely chopped onions to form a thick paste. But then it's not everyone that uses onions in making their masa. And for the fermentation process, the mixture is then combined with active dry yeast and sugar to kickstart the fermentation process. This mixture should be left to ferment for about 6 to 8 hours or even overnight. It depends. I think I'll prefer you even doing it overnight, so you can leave it and you can fry the masa in the morning, just the way my mom does hers. As the batter ferments, it will become bubbly with a sour and slightly sweet taste. When seasoning, once the batter has fermented, season it with salt and add some baking powder to enhance the flavor and texture of the cooked masa. And what is last in the process is cooking your masa and making sure that you have this smooth ride. You know, when masa comes in scattered, it's like you don't even enjoy it. And because you're not getting it right and perfect, it might result to even getting burned, and then you will not even get the brown, the brown color that you desire from it. So masa is traditionally cooked in a special masa pan, and they call it Costco masa, which features round, shallow molds that gives the rice cake their iconic circular shapes. You can also use a non-stick frying pan with a little oil to cook it. Spoon the batter into the molds or onto the pan and cook until the masa turns golden brown on both sides. And for now, when you want to serve the masa, you know, masa is not something very difficult to make. Now, the thing is, you have to understand the quantity of water. You have to, you know, sometimes I say this every day, that cooking is creativity. Cooking is how you reason it, how you imagine it. If you know how to cook, and if someone makes moi moi, for instance, you'll be able to calculate and say, no, it's too much water in this moi moi, or lesser water. And then it's the same thing with masa, because, you know, the batter has to be thick enough and the water quantity has to be moderate enough for you to get the right desire you want. Yes, some people like their masa very soft, and you know that when masa is cold, it gets very strong. But when you make it very fluffy, the water content in it is very moderate and the way it's supposed to be. Even when it stays for days and you put it in your refrigerator and you come back to microwave it to eat it, it still comes out very fresh, and at the same desire, the texture, the desire you want comes out still perfect. So masa is actually best enjoyed fresh and warm, served with a variety of spices, deepening sauce, soup or stew, or even pepper. Some popular accompaniments include the soya pepper, just as I said, a spicy peanut-based sauce that pairs beautifully with the tangy flavor of masa. You can also use spicy tomato-based sauce, a rich and flavorful tomato sauce with a kick of heat to complement the rice cake, the masa. You can also use miyan taushe, a Nigerian pumpkin soup or granite soup that adds more depth to the masa experience. The combination of the slightly sour masa with the bold spicy flavor of the sauce creates a delicious taste experience that is truly enjoyable. So, very key important notes now for you when you're making your masa, when you're enjoying it, when you're buying it outside. If you've not tried eating your masa with the yaji, I know that some people have tried eating it with normal, with suya, and then of course when you're buying your suya, it comes with yaji. But then this time around, the special masa yaji, you know, some people say, oh, I prefer to eat mine with the soup, I prefer eating mine with stew, I prefer eating mine with this and that and this and that. But sometimes we should also get to be versatile about it. We have to learn to try new things so that, you know, maybe the one that you're eating is not even as sweet as the one you're avoiding. So when making masa, it is essential to keep some crucial tips and tricks in mind to ensure you achieve the desired taste and texture. And today we're going to be giving you some of these important things to note. You have to choose the right rice. Opt for a short grain rice variety such as the one they use in making tuwon shinkafa, which is ideal for masa due to its ability to clump together and create a pleasing texture when cooked. And secondly, you have to make sure you soak the rice properly. Soaking the rice for several hours or overnight is crucial for softening the grains and making them easier to blend. These steps helps create a smooth batter for your masa. For the fermentation time, you have to also allow the batter to ferment for at least, do not rush, no matter how hungry you are. You have to make sure that you have that patience to allow the batter to ferment at its right time, so you don't even mess your masa up. So it should ferment at least 2 hours to enable it to be doable in volume. And then, you know, if you allow it ferment very well, the yeast you use, it makes the batter rise, and then that's when you get this fluffy texture. And then this is essential for achieving the slightly sour and tangy aroma that characterize masa. So you have to be patient and give the fermentation process enough time to work its magic. And of course, you have to keep an eye on that batter constantly. It's like you're checking your baby, you know, because if you do not keep eye on the batter, it's either the batter will not rise at all, or it will rise to a point where it will now pour out. Now the batter should be thick enough to hold its shape when spooned into the mold or the pan. If the batter is too runny, add a little more salt and blend rice to thicken it. If it's too thick, add a small amount of water to thin it out. Now you have to also do a proper oiling to enable you get the right texture. When it's coming out of the pan, it has to come out smoothly. So you have to make sure the oil that's in the mold or when you're frying it is adequately enough, and of course it is done at the proper time. These steps prevent the rice cake from sticking to the pan and ensures that it turns golden brown properly. And it has to be cooked on a medium heat to avoid burning. Cook it over medium heat to allow the rice cook from the inside, and then you will now get the right amount of desired color you want. But if you allow it on your own time, then it will get burnt. So you have to be intentional. Low heat makes magic. And for the blender, you know, you have to get a blender that is very, very strong if you're not using the normal blending machine that we usually see in the market. So if you're using your own home blender, just because you want to do this in the comfort of your space, you want to learn how to do it, you can enjoy it anytime. You can combine it with your suya at any time. So this time around, you have to make sure that you're using a very strong blender, and that's why you need to allow your rice to soak very well so that you get the smooth texture you desire. So before we go to the next one, let's just take a look at the process and see what is there. right, moving on, it's awara, and I'm very sure most of us know what awara is. We know that awara is made from soya beans, and it's also called tofu as well. A lot of us northerners enjoy it, and then it's even something that is everywhere. It's versatile. A lot of people just find this as one interesting snack. Awara is the northern Nigerian name for soybeans tofu, which has become a beloved national snack. The tofu is deep fried and then eaten with a special peanut base dip called yaji, or even sauce, a peppered sauce, or it is mixed with a pepper sauce, which can be prepared usually with any recipe of the one you choose. Is based on how you want it. This delicious dish can be eaten as a meal or as a snack. Although tofu is eaten worldwide, in Nigeria it is commonly associated with the northern part of the country. The recipe today is just a special one. You know, some people make it very plain, but then at the same time you can add in your onions and of course your pepper. And for the process, for the ingredients that you can use to make your awara, of course you need your soya beans, you also need your salt to taste, you need your vegetable oil. For the sauce, you need your bonnet blended tatashe. You also need your peppers. You need your onions. Then your spices. You also need spring onions. Some people add spring onions while others don't. You also need your salt and spices to taste as well. So quickly, the process when you're making this particular recipe, of course you need to soak your soya beans. It has to be soft before you can blend it. You now grind the soaked soya beans and sieve with a fine siever, and you have to remove the chaff out of the liquid. Then you need to also boil the juice and add lemon juice or tamarind, or even or tamarind while you're boiling it, so that all the things, it will get clotted together, and then you'll be able to separate from the original tofu you want to fry and then the water. Then you scoop out the coagulated part and put it into a handkerchief sieve. Then you add salt to the tofu, then you tie it firmly, put something heavy on top of it to help apply pressure. It will take several hours for the water to drain completely, and make sure the water drains completely so that it will all close together. Untie the sieve and chop up the block of tofu into your desired shape and sizes. You deep fry it in a vegetable oil until it turns a very light shade of brown. Make your pepper sauce by frying your onions, pepper, spring onions together. You add your salt and your spices to taste. You can add the fried tofu to the pepper sauce if you want, and mix everything together. And if not, you can just put them separately and you can enjoy it just the way it is, like that. So for the sake of time, I had to rush this. I could not just take all the time to give you all the details, but in the video, I'm very sure you have learned something today. And if you've not tried this particular meal, you can try. It is nothing to be scared of, so feel free. Thank you for joining me on today's episode on Lunch Global. I am still Chunk Annamel Joseph. Thank you for staying with me today. Enjoy your day and have a beautiful week. Bye.